Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I am going to discuss the best books I read in 2022. Today, I am going to mention 5 books, all of which are mysteries. I didn't do that on purpose, but hey, your girl loves a mystery. One thing I will say before we get started is I mentioned in my worst books of 2022 video that I did not have any 1-star reads this year, which is great news. But on the flip side, I also had very few 5-star reads this year, so not all of the books I'm going to mention in this video were 5 stars, but they all got at least a 4.5, so I did still really enjoy them. I can't say there were that many books this year that were like life-changingly amazing for me, unfortunately, but all the books that I'm going to talk about in this video, I did really thoroughly enjoy. So these are in no particular order. I think since I mentioned The Big Four by Agatha Christie as one of my worst books of the year, I should mention the Agatha Christie's that I did really love this year. So I gave 2 of her books 4.5 stars, and those were Lord Edgware Dies and The Secret Adversary. Lord Edgware Dies is one of the Poirot novels, and I made a video where I tried to solve this mystery. I will link that in the card. Please go watch it. It is a long video, but I had so much fun making it, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it. I have to say, I had absolutely no clue who the murderer was in this, and I think that the ultimate reveal was very surprising. This was a rare mystery where the person who did it, I never suspected them. They were not on my radar at all, and I just did not see the ending coming. So kudos to Agatha Christie for pulling the wool over my eyes with this one. Now, The Secret Adversary is the first novel featuring Tommy and Tuppence, a pair of married sleuths who start their own company called the Young Adventurers. And I have to say, I think, if I'm being impartial, Lord Edgware Dies is a much better book than The Secret Adversary. I think that the mystery is very well constructed, but I think I personally actually liked The Secret Adversary more just because I felt like it was so fun. This book is one of Agatha Christie's novels that leans a little more action-adventure, so it doesn't have a super shocking reveal like Lord Edgware Dies, but I found this book so impossibly charming. I think charm was the one thing I wished Lord Edgware Dies had more of, but I think Tommy and Tuppence are just super spunky and fun to read about. I know their personalities don't work for everyone, but personally, I was just having a ball reading this book, and I know it has flaws, but God, was it what I needed at the time. In hindsight, I feel like I should have just given The Secret Adversary 5 stars. I think I was trying to not be so biased and recognize that it's not a perfect work of literature by any means, and it's not among the greatest books that Agatha Christie ever wrote. But in terms of my personal enjoyment, this book was just 5 stars. I had so much fun reading this book. Granted, I also read this immediately after reading The Big Four, which I really did not like, so maybe that boosted my opinion of it, but you know, it's what it is. I just have super fond memories of this book, and I loved it. Now, I think a good segue, let's move on from Agatha Christie and talk about a book by one of her contemporaries. Another one of my favorite books I read this year was The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tey. This is one of her mystery novels featuring Detective Inspector Alan Grant of Scotland Yard. I believe this is book 5 in the series, and I'd never read any of the Inspector Grant books before, nor did I feel a particular need to. I wanted to read this book specifically because in this book, Inspector Grant has been injured and he is currently recuperating in the hospital, unable to work. While he is on bed rest, he wants a mystery to solve, so one of his friends suggests that he look into a mystery from history. And thus, Inspector Grant decides he is going to look into the disappearance of the princes in the tower and determine once and for all, was their uncle, King Richard III, actually responsible for their disappearances? I personally love reading about Richard III. He's this historical figure that I have a certain soft spot for. Obviously, he was not a perfect person, and like pretty much every other royal family member from this era, he had massive flaws. But I think just the way that his name has been blackened in history makes me kind of sympathetic to him. So when I heard about this book, I knew it was something I wanted to check out, being a Richard III fan, for lack of a better term. And God, this book was really good. It was like no other mystery novel I've ever read before. Now, this book is not going to have a lot of twists, a lot of action. The main character never leaves his hospital room the entire book. So if you're someone who needs lots of thrills, you're probably not going to like this. But if you are looking for a very unique take on the mystery novel, I think this could be the book for you. And I really loved how this book addressed that history is written by the victors, and we interpret the past through the lens of the victors, because the people who come out on top are the ones who get to write the official records. And therefore, you know, had Richard III come out on top of the Battle of Bosworth, history probably would have looked at him entirely differently. Did Richard III order the murders of his nephews or not? I don't know, and we will never get a concrete answer to that, but I really enjoyed Josephine Tey's take on the story and the overall message of this novel. I really enjoyed it. Do you guys think I should read the other Inspector Grant novels now? Are there any other Josephine Tey books that you think I would really like? If you have read other books by her, do let me know in the comments what you think. Now, the next mystery I'm going to mention was a 4.5-star book for me, and that is The Appeal by Janice Hallett. This book received a lot of hype on BookTube. I know some people really liked it and some people not so much. Personally, I had a lot of fun reading this book. This is a mystery novel that is told through mixed media. We are following these two law students, Charlotte and Femi, and they, with their boss, are currently working on an appeal for an unknown person who's been found guilty of murder. So their boss gives them a bunch of documents about the case to go over to find information for their appeal, and you are also at the same time reading all these files following the people who were connected to this murder. These are the personal messages between a large cast of characters. I think about like 15 of them in all. They are all affiliated with this small town theater troupe currently putting on a production of All My Sons. And before the production is over, one of them will turn up dead and one of them will be arrested for the crime. But who died? Who was arrested? And are they actually guilty, or was it someone else entirely? This book is encouraging you to go over all this evidence and attempt to answer those questions. I think the way this book is written is very fun because it's encouraging you to play detective and solve along. If you're someone who likes trying to guess whodunit while reading mystery books, this book might be perfect for you. The reason I didn't give this book 5 stars is mainly because all of the messages are mainly emails, and I feel like it would have been more realistic to also have text messages included, because some of the correspondence, I was just thinking to myself, this would not have been an email, this would have been a text message. But I still thought it was really fun, and I'm hoping that in 2023, maybe I will get to read Janice Hallett's other book, The Twyford Code. I'm excited to read more books from her. And finally, I also wanted to give a shout out to A Treacherous Curse by Deanna Raybourn. This is part of the Veronica Speedwell series, one of my favorite historical mystery series, and this is my favorite book out of the series so far. It was 5 stars, just so good. This is a series of historical mysteries set in 1880s Victorian London, following lady adventuress Veronica Speedwell, who often finds herself having to solve crimes with her colleague Stoker. If you like a murder mystery plotline served up with a side of sexual tension and delightful banter, these are the books for you, my friend. This is, like I said, my favorite book in the series so far. This is book number 3. The mystery plot of this book sees Veronica and Stoker having to investigate the disappearance of an archaeologist who disappeared after a recent dig in Egypt, and the case also sees them having to confront familiar faces from Stoker's past, which was super exciting because reading the first 2 books, I really wanted to learn more about his backstory, and this book gave me what I wanted. The mystery I thought was super interesting and engaging. I loved the inclusion of these Egyptologists as characters, and I was thoroughly engrossed until the climax. I also just love Veronica and Stoker together. They are soulmates and one of my favorite book ships. I need to read the last 2 books in this series, the last 2 books that are currently out. I mean, there will be another book in 2023. I'm kind of scared though, because based on things I've seen people say about them, I think my girl Deanna is going to put me through some emotional turmoil, and she's gonna interfere with my ship. And I'm not about that. I am not ready for the pain, and so I keep putting off reading them because I am not ready to be heartbroken, okay? Ms. Raybourn, just let me have Stoker and Veronica, okay? They belong together, all right? I am not ready to have my heart broken, sis, but you did write a really great book with this one, so I will give you that. All right, everyone, so those were my favorite books that I read in 2022. Have you read any of these books? What was your favorite book you read this year? Do let me know in the comment section. If you are still here and you don't know what to comment, why don't you comment, how about a moon emoji? Because I'm wearing a moon ring today. Sure, that works. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a festive rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.